The service is better repositioned towards ensuring safety on the waterways. Meanwhile, the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo is back in the country after a two-day state visit to Algeria. The Vice President, before leaving Algiers, spoke to State House correspondent Jide Onifade, urging Nigerians to take advantage of opportunities as they come. His report.
After having impressive talks with officials of the host government, the Vice President visited one of the top private food processing companies in Algeria. The poultry farm, with different production lines, is said to be meeting about 80% food needs of the entire population.
I think that what Nigerians also would need, Nigerian investors also would need, is to be able to understand that first, there is enough support for the industry, and that the incentives are good, the opportunities are good, and I'm convinced if we're able to produce poultry locally, if we're able to produce a lot of what we eat locally, the market is there. We have a huge market. So for any businessman, clearly, I mean, Nigeria is a golden opportunity. And I think that the relationships that we've been able to build here and some of what we've seen here will benefit local businesses greatly.
Not only investors were advised to make use of opportunities that come their way. This was also emphasized when the Vice President had audience with representatives of Nigerians residing in the country, most of them students and professionals. Vice President Osinbajo also had talks with the President of the People's National Assembly, Larabi Khalifa, and together visited the Arts and Crafts Center. Rivalry between Nigeria and Algeria has always been on the field of sports, where they try to outdo each other. But on other fields, they are co-partners working to move the nations of Africa forward politically and economically. From Algiers, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Thank you, Jide. The federal government also says it is determined to ensure that information disseminated to the public makes the right impact. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, stated this at the official launch of the federal government of Nigeria's information app in Abuja. Let's join Anthony Forsin for details.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, while pointing out the essence of the federal government app, said it is predicated on the administration's pledge to leverage on the unique power of information and culture. The minister maintained that a number of programs have been executed for the purpose of carrying the people along and keeping them abreast with government activities. Among such programs is the Town Hall Meeting Series.
It is also in line with the mandate of the Ministry of Information and Culture to lead the management of the image and reputation of the people and policies of the federal government of Nigeria through a professional and dynamic public information system that facilitates access by citizens and the global community to credible and timely information about our nation.
The minister, while emphasizing that the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has come under severe attack by critics who see nothing good about the present administration, need to be informed about some salient but hard facts on progress made so far by government.
This is because those who are opposed to this administration's change agenda, including the corrupt elements in our society, who have chosen to fight the government with their ill-gotten wealth, have taken it upon themselves to distort our messages and obfuscate our activities to give the impression that the government is not doing anything at all.
And it promises to be the most powerful information tool from this part of the globe. The FGNI app is the only mobile platform where you will be able to find current, genuine, and relevant information directly from the Presidency, National Assembly, federal government ministries, parastatals, and agencies all in one place.
The app has special features which will enable Nigerians from wherever they are in the world to access first-hand information about government and other events. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And as Nigeria concludes a policy framework and national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism, which is expected to mainstream prevention mechanism at all levels, The need for inputs geared towards strengthening criminal justice approach in handling all categories of persons associated with insurgency has been emphasized. This Olajide Bello report was the agenda for high-level consultation by the Office of the National Security Advisor in collaboration with other development partners held in Abuja.
The gallantry of the armed forces at restoring peace in the northeast and the federal government's efforts towards rebuilding and reintegrating victims of insurgency is taking another turn. This is through collaboration between Nigeria, the European Union, Counter-terrorism Committee Executives Directorate, as well as the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime to brainstorm on strengthening criminal justice response for multidimensional security.
Nigeria therefore welcomes all input geared towards strengthening criminal justice approach in the handling of all categories of persons associated with Boko Haram.
If we don't find a permanent, a sustainable, a long-term, a structural response to their challenges, they will return to their association with Boko Haram.
The chair of the Counter-insurgency Committee, which is our political body, is very much committed to assist the countries of the Lake Chad Basin as a whole, united in their fight against terrorism.
We all know that a strong criminal justice pillar as part of an overall rehabilitation reintegration program is essential to enhancing the legitimacy and legality of the efforts of the national authorities to address former members of Boko Haram.
A draft guideline for rehabilitation, aftercare and reintegration of persons associated with insurgency is expected to close the gaps identified and write frameworks in place to be implemented. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
In another development, the former Vice President Alex Ekweme and some Southeast state governors have urged the federal government to declare a state of emergency on ecological disaster in the region. It was when the House of Representatives Committee on Environment and Habitat inspected some gully erosion sites in some states of the Southeast, in continuation of the committee's oversight function. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The oversight visit to some erosion sites in some communities of Imo, Abia, Enugu and Anambra states followed a motion of urgent public importance moved at plenary on threats of gully erosion in the southeast by some representatives from the areas. Governors of Anambra, Abia, Enugu and Imo states, including the former Vice President Alex Ekweme, expressed concern on threats posed by the ecological menace in the region and solicited federal government assistance.
We hope that something will be done within the next few months to ensure that there's some stabilization on this side before the next ones come.
We have 962 active erosion sites, very active erosion sites, that if nothing is done, within the next 10 years, Anambra would have lost probably half the size.
Some members of the House of Representatives, traditional rulers and indigenes from the affected communities noted that gully erosion has created both social and economic difficulties and pleaded for immediate remedy before the next rainy season.
This gully erosion has been with us. In fact, it had carried women here. Women died because of the heavy flood, carrying them off. We had to bury some people like that. And the major road we use that links us with Obuduku has been cut. You can see it here.
The committee also inspected projects undertaken by the Ecological Fund Office in some of the areas visited. Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Environment and Habitat promised to make appropriate recommendations to the House at plenary.
No matter the amount of resources we have, we need to use it properly. So when you use it properly and you do a road that will last at least 20 years before you retouch it, these kind of issues will not happen. Another thing we'll notice is that there's no end-to-end design. Some of the designs, some of the contractors we've listened to don't quite understand what they're doing. And so they start a project, and also due to lack of funds, I may say, the project is stalled, and then several issues will come up. This shouldn't happen.
Having seen
the situation with their own eyes. Members of the House Committee on Environment and Habitat are urging the federal government to intensify intervention through ecological funds to ensure that communities under such threats are not allowed to be wasted. Kenneth Nanim, NTN News.
The wife of the President, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, has donated food items to the Federal Capital Territory chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria in the spirit of Christmas and New Year celebrations. The wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osinbajo, made the donation on behalf of the wife of the President at the First Baptist Church in Abuja. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir has more.
The items donated includes rice, milk and other essential commodities, with optimism of cushioning the effect of the hardship to ensure a smooth and heat-free Christmas celebration. The wife of the President, in her message, enjoined Christians faithful across the country to use the period of Yuletide and pray for peace, unity and development of the country, while urging the leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria (CAN) FCT chapter to ensure transparency in the distribution of the items. The wife of the President also urged them to use the commodities judiciously.
The Bible says how good and pleasant it is when brethren dwell together in unity. I'm not here in my own capacity. I'm here representing Her Excellency, the wife of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Everyone knows she has a very large and generous heart, and she has sent a lot of items for the Christian community, and I'm just here to stand and watch it be handed over.
The CAN chairman, North Central, Reverend Akonji, expressed delight with the gesture.
This is leadership, and this is a sense of unity for the nation. Now, Hajia is a Muslim. She knows that the celebration now is for Christians, and yet she has decided to brighten the hearts of the Christians. And this is how it should be. Christians should extend hands to Muslims. Muslims should extend hands to Christians. We should be one nation. These are also hard times. Recession is not only in Nigeria, it's all over the world.
Similar gesture is expected to be extended across the country. In Abuja, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
And from Aliu Kabir, we move to Lagos, which is our first stop on Nationwide today. Demola is standing by for details. Demola, it's over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Femi. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. In line with the Nigerian Army commitment to tackling contemporary security challenges facing the country, its personnel and those of the police that participated in the 2016 Logistics Management course at the Nigerian Army School of Logistics have graduated. Jane Ojukwu reports that modern concepts in security operations formed part of the training.
The 14 graduating personnel being presented with their certificates. Having completed a 4-month training in logistics management, the graduates, 13 of whom were drawn from the Nigerian Army and 1 from the Nigerian Police, are now certified competent logisticians. The Chief of Army Staff, who was represented at the ceremony by the Corps Commandant Ordnance, Major General Rashid Yusuf, charged the logisticians to justify their training by deploying the skills acquired in the discharge of their duties.
Must continue to provide requisite leadership and ensure that personnel are continually reminded of the need to uphold the tenets of professionalism at all times by being guided by the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution.
He disclosed that the Logistics College will be relocated to a permanent site at Ojo to boost its capacity to train more personnel. The graduating logisticians expressed gratitude to the Army for the training opportunity.
We are expected to be fully equipped in all aspects of Nigerian logistics. I have changed my military logistics.
The commandant of the Nigerian Army College of Logistics, Major General Richard Duru, commended the graduating personnel for their exceptional performance, which earned some of them awards at the event. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
7 courier companies operating illegally in Lagos State have been clamped down by the Courier Regulatory Department of the Nigerian Postal Service, while 10 others have their licenses revoked for non-renewal. This was disclosed by the new head of the agency, Ishaya Diwa, during an interactive meeting with the media in Lagos.
The courier industry in Nigeria has for some time now witnessed proliferation of illegal operators, despite several enlightenment and enforcements carried out by the regulatory body to encourage standards in their operations. To sanitize the industry, the agency in Lagos sealed up 7 companies and their equipment seized for non-registration and compliance with other stipulated procedures.
Michel Mercantile Limited is operating at Abuja Street, off Unilag Road, Yaba. We also have Triple J Chinese Restaurant, which is operating 76 Ogudu Road, Ojota, Lagos. There is Cheesy Nigeria Limited, AC Holdings Limited. There is Finger King Limited, Sura Shopping Complex, Lagos.
Senior Assistant Postmaster General in charge of the Lagos office of NIPOST, Ishaya Diwa, says government will continue to lose revenue if illegal activities of operators are not curtailed. He says NIPOST will continue to beam its searchlights on such illegal operators until the agency gets rid of their activities.
By sanitizing it, we make it more efficient, more credible people will now come in, and even the economy will grow because things are done the way they should be done.
The Assistant Postmaster General also added that the agency will carry out periodic sensitization to educate Nigerians and operators on how to regularize their operations.
Christmas period is not only for showing love and sharing gifts, it is also a period to express joy through Christmas carols. NTA2 Lagos Network Center was not left out of the mood as busy management and staff of the station let down their ears to enjoy carol of 9 lessons. Rotimi Oluwagbemi was there.
This rendition by the choir of NTA2 Christian Fellowship set the tone for a relaxing and joyous event which even the zonal director of the center could not resist. Christmas, no doubt, is a time of showing and sharing love, but as the zonal director says, the Yuletide may actually mean more than that. To him, it is also a period of sober reflection on the essence of the birth of Christ and his mission to mankind.
Oftentimes we find out that some people digress from the real essence of Christmas. But I want to believe that the little who are here today are privileged to be here because we are going to hear from the throne of grace.
Bishop Olanwaju Bimbe, the guest speaker, advised Christians not to narrow the essence of Christmas to merriment, but to reflect on how to be a born again.
In identifying with the Christ of Christmas, we must identify number one with the Savior. He's the only one who has the capacity to save us from our self-conceited problems.
The reason for this Christmas is because Christ died for us.
NTA2 has instituted its annual carol and 9 lessons to encourage bonding among staff members and allow them enjoy the mood of Christmas, their busy schedules notwithstanding. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
Well, that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Femi, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Ademola. The Women Advocates for Vaccines Access Wava has named the wife of the Senate President, Toyin Saraki, and Ogun State Governor's wife too, as well as some health experts as vaccine champions. They are to lend their voices in driving strong advocacy to policymakers for Nigeria to establish a structure for sustaining immunization programs. Chimdiman Debisi was at the inauguration in Abuja, and this is what she brought back.
like other donor agencies, has been funding Nigeria's routine immunization since 2001. But it's about scaling down its support for a period of 5 years, starting from 2017. To bridge the funding gap required in achieving zero vaccine stock out till 2018, health experts are suggesting a biannual budgeting and our $140 million budget on vaccines procurement and routine immunization in 2017. These and other advocacy issues are to form key messages of these vaccine champions.
They are going to advocate for funding. They are also going to advocate for parents to take their children to be vaccinated, and they are going to also advocate for health workers and the health system to deliver vaccines to all children.
I don't ever want to see a situation again in Nigeria where any child goes unvaccinated and because of that gets a disease that's preventable. We can prevent these diseases and we can make the investment in saving lives. Vaccination is really the most important investment.
We have the technology. We need to train more. We need to enhance our local facilities to ensure that they can actually produce world-class vaccines in a sustainable way.
Traditional leaders, parents, civil organizations ought to be able to ask, why are there no enough vaccines? So that the elected officials then would have to respond to that reality. So that's how I see the role that we now have.
Nigeria is expected to take full responsibility for funding immunization programs by 2022. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
We're still on health matters as part of efforts to reduce infant and maternal mortality. Niger State government has commenced revitalization of primary health centers across its 247 wards. The State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Mustapha Jibril, stated this at the Strategic Development Plan retreat for health experts in the state. Timothy Yusuf has more.
The retreat is to further give credence to Niger State policy objectives in the health sector. The deplorable state of the health sector in the state over the years is said to have necessitated recent declaration of a state of emergency in the sector by Governor Abubakar Sani Bello.
He realized that the people in the rural area, the poor people, have been marginalized and they do not have access to health care services. The situation over the years has been on the urban area and the secondary health care. So we are now trying to look at how can we ensure that the people where 70% of our populace reside, how can they access these services? And over the 40 years in Niger State, we've not had a viable primary health care system.
Participants say the retreat will further provide a platform for leaders in the health sector to engage in frank discussions of the challenges facing the health system, with a view to defining a clear roadmap for translating the new administration's policy initiatives.
What we intend to achieve is to make sure that we have a strategic document that is owned by every manager that is in this room today.
The communities should have ownership of the primary healthcare activities.
The retreat has as its theme, building effective teams for results, PHC revitalization for improved health system and performance in Niger State. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
We're not done with health issues, and also as part of efforts towards achieving the sustainability of sustainable development goals, the Cross River State government has restated its determination to reposition the nursing profession and also boost healthcare delivery in the state. Governor of Cross River State, Ben Ayadi, stated this while inaugurating a secretariat for nurses in Calabar. Umobasi Edet completes the story.
Represented by the Deputy Governor of Cross River State, Professor Ivara Esu, the governor noted that nurses remain critical in the health sector, hence government's commitment to their training, retraining, and overall development. Immediate past Governor of Cross River State, Senator Liel Imoke, urged nurses to remain steadfast in the delivery of quality service to the people.
The state government will continue to increase, our support for the nursing program. As you well know, only recently we have supported the accreditation process for the 2 schools of nursing, and we are looking into the conditions of service of nurses.
Our institutions must be in place. To support this, we must continue with our efforts at accreditation. We must produce some of the best nurses in Nigeria, like we are known for.
Other stakeholders spoke on the significance of the project.
That is a woman that has laid legacy, left footprints on the time of the nursing profession. She did so well. She impacted in a lot of nurses, and we just felt for all her contributions, for her meritorious services to the state government in general and to the nursing profession, we should immortalize her name. We should immortalize a name on this edifice.
At the beginning, it seemed as if it was impossible. Not just impossible, I think people went to the extent of even suing my person.
And we have nurses that are like the life wire of the health sector in Cross River State.
The secretariat, known as Comfort Imoke Nurses House, is to immortalize a nurse and mother of former Governor Imoke for her immense contribution to the nursing profession. In Calabar, Umar Basidate, NTA News.
From health, we move to agriculture, but this time in Benue State. The state government has encouraged value addition to agricultural products. These are more as we join Susan in Makurdi, who is standing by to give us the details of that report, plus other stories making wave in that zone. Susan, take it away.
Good to see you, Femi, and welcome to Makurdi. The Benue State government is to continue to encourage value addition to agricultural products, especially for crops which the state has comparative advantage. Governor Samuel Otom stated this at a two-day Benue Farmers Summit to showcase farm products in the 23 local government areas of the state. Achigili Magaji reports.
The policy is to support such areas with comparative advantage to boost crop production and processing. It is also for easy monitoring, documentation, regulation and distribution of farm inputs. The governor who inspected the produce displayed by the various local government areas expressed delight over the enormous agricultural potentials of the state. He maintained that the exercise will be made an annual event where prizes will be won.
You can imagine what it used to be as if it's foreign products or at least something that is grown in places like Plateau and Bounty that is doing very well here.
The Deputy Governor, Chief Benson Abonu, and the Commissioner of Agriculture and Natural Resources had in their remarks said government has adopted new approaches that will guarantee sustainability and resilience, adding that a strategic plan of action covering 2017 to 2020 has been drafted awaiting validation by stakeholders. There were goodwill messages from various stakeholders from Nasarawa and Plateau states. Some local small-scale processors and cultural troops took advantage of the event to showcase what they have. In Makurdi, Achigili Magaji, NTA News.
2,000 core members for the 2016 Batch B posted to Benue State have successfully completed their 3-week orientation course at the Wanune camp in Taka local government area of the state. Deputy Governor of Benue State, Benson Abonu, advised them to put to use the training they received during the orientation and to live in harmony with their host communities. Bem Hanya reports.
The core members received theoretical and practical lessons in food processing, information and communication technology, as well as cosmetology, among others. The skills acquisition training is aimed at producing young graduates who are self-reliant and employers of labor rather than job seekers. Deputy Governor of Benue State, Benson Abonu, while assuring them of the hospitality of the Benue people, as well as their security, urged them to bring their training to bear in their places of primary assignment.
It is a period you are expected to give back to the society by dispensing intellectual and humanitarian services selflessly.
State coordinator of the scheme, Mrs. Esther Atamewan, told the core members to be good ambassadors of the scheme and their families, as she commended them for the good behavior they exhibited on camp. Some of the core members said their orientation was worthwhile as they look forward to putting in their best during the service year. In Makurdi, Bem Hanya, NTA News.
And moving on to the education sector, members of the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union in 6 states of the Northeast geopolitical zone have reiterated commitment to deal with issues confronting teachers and the teaching profession in the country. This was at a 3-day conference of the union held in the College of Education Zing, Taraba State. Christy Ayagwa Adaji reports.
This year's event, with the theme Emerging National Issues, the Role of Teachers' Education, dwelled on the need to find lasting solutions to the multiple challenges confronting teachers and the profession. National President of the College of Education Academic Staff Union, Dr. Emmanuel Asaga, represented by Mohammed Awal Ibrahim, frowned at the trend where unqualified and untrained people were employed as teachers all over the country. He said the damage this is causing to the nation's educational system is very huge.
The responsibility to shape the mind of the future generation of this country is in our hands.
Taraba State Commissioner for Education, Johannes Jigim, represented by Idris Goje, and Provost College of Education Zinc, Dr. Mike Diogen, emphasized the need for greater attention to be given to education to turn it around. Several papers were presented during the conference, which also featured the unveiling of the 8th edition of the Sahel Journal of Teachers in Nigeria. In Jalingo, Christy Ayagwa Adaji, NTA News.
And that's our package from Makudi. It's back to Femi in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan. Government ministries, departments, and agencies have been advised to champion innovative economic ideas at their disposal for sustainable economic growth in the country. Dr. Manuel Anolefo, a development expert, stated this during the 2016 National Economic Roundtable. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji reports.
Giving a nod to President Muhammadu Buhari's presentation of the 2017 Budget of Economic Recovery and Growth, his associates under the aegis of the Muhammadu Buhari Legacy Foundation have reached out to economists and international development partners to explore potentials of rapid growth for the country and evolved strategies towards good governance.
I have seen instances where some ministers and departments say because the government removed them from Vision 2020, for instance, that they don't want to be part of what they are doing. And as because of that, they try to frustrate ideas that come to them. Everywhere in the world, policy process is built around institutions and systems, so you can't undermine it.
We are looking forward to make the budget passed by our president to be effective on the life of the people, because we are talking about the alternative approach in order to fix Nigeria economy.
Once we figure out what is needed, we will put a package together and bring in the right companies that they can do that development.
Increased investment in agriculture and more private sector involvement in manufacturing were listed as crucial to realization of development objectives. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, has challenged Nigerian traders to diversify and go into trading and manufacturing towards adding value to the economy. The minister stated this while hosting delegation of a trade union in her office. Saliu Abdullahi has the report.
By this group of traders is in line with federal government policy of identifying genuine business partners and encouraging synergy towards sustainable business environment, and being the first group to visit the ministry shortly after President Muhammadu Buhari presented the 2017 budget to the National Assembly. They were with a handful of proposals that will help further boost and add value in the nation's business circle. The Minister of State, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, assured the traders of policies that will assist trading. The 2017 budget, the minister said, meant well for genuine businesses to strive in the country, as so much was set aside to revive the ailing industries and support the growth of small and medium enterprises.
Our ministry is one of the most beneficial or beneficiaries of this budget,
because we have in it provisions for the special export processing zones. We also have in it some provisions for some of the outstandings that we have to contractors and so on. And this, what it means is that we're going to be able to pay off some of the debts that we have. Government has also recognized the role upcoming industries would require some financial support and other capacities to be able to take off.
The group commended the government's efforts in fighting insurgency and creating jobs. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can also download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store. If you use devices with iOS, you're still on to NTA Nationwide, and it's time now to pause for some messages. Don't go away.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Man of all chairman. Oh, let me wash your hand for you. Don't worry. Let me take toothpick and... Hey. According to Professor Tranquilizer,
I am disappointed, aghast, crestfallen, and vanquished at your shameful display.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, Oguz Baba.
I'd like to see Mr. Udo Etu.
I hear you now, but find me something.
Are you mad?
Go.
Goodness, August, you show and your shit.
Oh.
Very nice man, generous.
Okay, anything for the guests. Maybe feature or something.
Happy weekend, sir. Thank you.
Today is Wednesday.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
I'm finished.
Who finished you?
Find me something.
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
The essence of having a leader. When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And he can't do it alone except with the help of the governor's wives, and all members of our progressive party.
It's that time of the year when we appreciate all those that meant so much to us. Our sponsors, our clients, government at all levels, corporate bodies, advertisers, religious bodies, civil society groups, political parties, business, and above all, you, our esteemed viewer. Together, we made 2016 great. Together, we shall make 2017 even greater. That's why we say thank you. Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year.
Nigeria joins the rest of the world in going digital. This means Nigeria is moving from analog terrestrial TV broadcasting to digital. Now, digital broadcasting gives you clearer pictures, crystal clear sound, and a chance for more channels and more shows to watch. Digital TV is a whole new experience for you and a rich harvest of digital giving for the nation. Come aboard, Nigeria going digital. Coming to Abuja soon.
Far away from home, 2 million people contend with life, not as we know it, but as they come to know it. The Nigerian Television Authority presents the forced journey, pain, challenges and prospects for new beginning. Only on the network service of the NTA. Keep a date with this unique perspective.
You're still on to NTA Nationwide, and thanks for joining us. Change Begins With Me campaign train reaches the doorstep of former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Also, as the Oni of Ife advocates skills acquisition for youth to stem ideas. There's more as we join Dauju in Ibadan Network Center. Hello, Dauju.
Hello, Femi. Good to see you. Good evening and welcome to Ibadan. The Conference of Southwest Speakers of Houses of Assembly in the Southwest region has advocated more partnership and collaboration on issues of mutual interest and benefits. Correspondent Rofia Animashao Badmo says this is part of resolution of the maiden meeting of the body in Ibadan.
The maiden meeting of leadership of houses of assemblies of the Southwest state also attracted other lawmakers and clerks of the assemblies. The conference with theme, Effective Legislative Governance and Service Delivery Reforms in the Southwest region, hopes to discuss issues that are of common interest to the Yoruba nation. In particular, Oyo State Governor Abiola Jimobi, who was represented by Secretary to the State Government, charged the legislature in the Southwest region to make public interest their guiding principle.
And the various arms of government must cooperate, they must collaborate, they must come together to realize the essence of governance in the first place, and ultimately to move the interests of the people they govern forward.
The resource person and some heads of state houses of assembly described the institution of the conference as apt.
If you come together now as a unit, and do things together, I believe we are going to have more achievement in terms of development, in terms of the welfare package for our people, and it will be better for the downtrodden masses of the southwestern region.
Of power, then we need some level of autonomy, and that is one of those things we are going to rub mind in order to achieve.
It is important, therefore, for all the legislative houses in the southwest to work together to look at areas where they have common issues and how they can use legislation to support in those areas.
The conference is expected to produce a blueprint for a robust relationship between the legislative houses and their executive arm on the one hand and the public in general in Ibadan. Rofia Animasham Badmos, NTA News.
The Change Begins With Me campaign can only be successful if Nigerians and security agencies cooperate with one another. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo made the remark at the launch of the campaign by the Ogun State Command of the Nigeria Police. Anthony Gandunu reports.
The event of the launching of Change Begins With Me campaign initiative by the State Command of the Nigerian Police, which has in attendance traditional rulers and community leaders across Ogun State. In his goodwill message, chairman of the occasion, who is also the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, observed that assisting the police in community policing was the only way to a secured society. The state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, represented by the secretary to the state government, Mr. Taiwo Adeolua, in his speech, commended the Nigerian police force in keying into the federal government Change Begins With Me initiative. The State Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Ilyasu, in his welcome address, said the gathering was to improve on the existing relationship between the police and the public.
All and sorry to embrace this campaign.
The event also witnessed the flagging of the Public Complaints Rapid Response Unit, a platform through which all grievances against police actions and inactions are taken up and addressed. In Abeokuta, Anthony Gandonu, NTA News.
The Oni of Ife, Oba Eniton Adeyeye Ogunwusi, says the future of Nigerian youths is bright if they take to skills acquisition and enterprise development. He said this at the NYSC Batch B orientation camp in Ede, Osun State. Correspondent Tuji Adekboju reports.
The renewed attention on self-employment through skills acquisition and entrepreneurial development. The federal government thus created a new department in the National Youth Service Corps to drive this initiative. Corps members are trained on camp and continue training in skills acquisition after their orientation camp throughout the service year. The Oni of Ife, Enito Adeyeye Ogunwusi Ojaja II is a strong believer in youth empowerment, hence his historic visit to the NYSC orientation camp in Ede.
Let us look at the strength of this nation of ours. Let us look at the strength of what we can do for this country. It cannot continue like this forever.
The corps members displayed their products as well as their entertainment prowess. From Ede, Tunji Adepoju, NTA News.
And that's our package from Ibadan. It's back to Femi in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide. Good evening.
Thank you, Dauju. From Ede, we also go to Abuja, where the Federal Capital Territory needs the services and contribution also of the youth corps members to improve on its early child education. FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello said this in a message to the closing ceremony of the orientation course for the NYSC 2016 Batch B Stream 1, also in Abuja. Let's join Olayinka Ojo for details.
Represented by the Director Gender, Asma Abiwala, Minister of FCT said massive sensitization of parents, guardians and children on the need to be educated, especially at a young age, is of importance. Reiterating that the level of health consciousness and socio-economic development in the FCT reflects the level and spread of education in the FCT, the Minister urged the youth corps members to give their best.
I expect that with your help, our agricultural endeavors will improve small, cottage and medium enterprises, will emerge and creativity will peak among the people of the FCT.
FCT NYSC Coordinator Omotayo Adeoye assured that the corps members will use the skills acquired during orientation to build agricultural sector as well as small cottage and medium enterprises. He added that educational needs of the FCT will also be met.
Our CDS groups are targeted at encouraging child education.
I've learned to be diligent in my work, in anything I do.
2,936 youth corps members participated in the 2016 Batch B Stream 1 orientation course in the FCT. In Abuja, Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Thank you, Olayinka. Kano State Government on Anti-Corruption Crusade, as stakeholders also welcome the decision to construct access road to Rigasa Railway Station. Suleiman is standing by now in our Cardinal Network Center. Tell us more.
Thank you very much, Femi, and welcome. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says the anti-corruption crusade of Buhari's administration is not meant to witch hunt anybody, rather to address one of the major problems standing on the Nigeria's way of progress. He was speaking at the All-State Governments Conference Against Corruption in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
Fight against corruption is one of the key policies of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. The President's commitment in this direction has brought about positive changes within the last 1.5 years of his stewardship. This encouraged some state governments to join the crusade. Kano State Government, for instance, reinvigorated its Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission. Through the commission, its chairman, Muhimagaji, said the state government collaborated with the Federal Ministry of Justice in organizing the All-State Governments Conference Against Corruption in commemoration of the 2016 International Day Against Corruption. This, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says, is an effective way of creating synergy between federal and state governments towards winning the war against the menace. He said President Muhammadu Buhari should not be left to fight corruption alone, but should be supported and encouraged by all Nigerians. Kano State Deputy Governor Professor Hafiz Abubakar said the Ganduja's administration is in total support of President Muhammadu Buhari's anti-corruption policy and called for federal government agencies' support in skill and capacity building training for the state and the graft agency. A First Republic politician Alhaji Yusuf Mitamasile urged Nigerians to support the present administration's effort to addressing the major problems facing the nation. Similar comment was made by the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Offences Commission, EPONTA, that of the Code of Conduct Bureau, Sam Saba, Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Garba Abari, representative of the EFCC chairman, and other goodwill speakers. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Old students of one of the visible legacies of the Sardona of Sokoto Capital School, Kaduna, have vowed not to make such a laudable effort diminish in view of its importance to the present generation and those to come. Indayan Andiaba Gang reports.
Kaduna Capital School was established in 1957 by the late Sabotu Bello, Sardona of Sokoto. Since then, the school has grown in leaps and bounds, producing distinguished personalities in both public and private sectors of the Nigerian economy. It is these old students who are working to ensure the legacies of Kaduna Capital School are sustained. Mrs. Victoria Bileu, who taught in the school between 1966 and 1978, while commending the old students, urged government to ensure standards in the school.
I would like to see the Capital School blossom again.
For the president of Kaduna Capital School Old Students Association, Rabi Musa Saulawa, the association is committed to bringing back the lost glory of the school.
We promise that for everything that the government does, we will also do a counter to it. If the government builds one classroom, we promise to build one classroom.
The principal, KCS Zulay Jafaru, said the Old Students Association is playing a significant role in transforming the school and state government for giving education the attention it deserves. In Kaduna, I am Indian and the Gang, NTA News.
The annual Salar Gani festival was observed peacefully in Hadejia and Gumel Emirates of Jigawa State, with an appeal by the traditional rulers to their subjects to live in accordance with the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. Habib Hussain reports that the celebration attracted people within and outside Jigawa State and the neighboring Niger Republic.
Gani or Maulud is celebrated annually in Hadejia and Gumel Emirates of Jigawa State to commemorate the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It is characterized by horse riding and other traditional displays which attract people from within the country and beyond. In their separate messages, Emir of Hadejia Alhaji Adamu Abubakar Maji and that of Gumal Alhaji Ahmad Muhammad Sani enjoin Muslims to live in accordance with the teachings of the Prophet. They urge parents to ensure proper upbringing of their children and freed for the country to survive the current economic hardship. Dignitaries that attended the occasion include Jigawa State Governor Muhammad Badr Abubakar, members of state and national assemblies, and Comptroller General Nigerian Immigration Services Muhammad Babandede. From Dutse, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
And that's how far we can go with Kaduna as we go on. For global tidbits, where Niger records success in blocking Sahara migrant routes. Also, former Mozambican president's daughter, Valencia, shot dead in her home. Police arrest husband as prime suspect. Let's join Chimdema Ndebisi.
The number of prospective migrants crossing through Niger's dangerous Sahara Desert part to reach Libya en route to Europe has reduced from 70,000 in May to 2,000 in December. The drop in number is attributed to the collaborative efforts of the European Union and Nigerian authorities in tackling illegal migration. And reports from Sudan says civil disobedience campaign to protest the 27-year rule of President Omar al-Bashir is gaining grounds. In Somalia, a suicide car bomb exploded at a checkpoint close to Somalia's National Theatre, about 500 meters away from the presidential palace. The suicide bomber died, while 3 police guards were injured. Authorities believe a senior police officer was the target. In the meantime, civilians, rebels and wounded people are being evacuated from rebel-held enclave of Aleppo. Government troops had recaptured almost all the remaining rebel-held areas. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdema Ndibisi, NTA News.
And to sports now, Nigeria is hopeful of defending Afro basketball title in Congo, Brazzaville. Also, Real Madrid qualifies for the final of FIFA